Here's a brief overview of my game making program that I made for my final year project at university. If you're wanting to give it a test, make your own games, here's how to do it. So this is the site. This is where you can get the game maker. You just click download here, or there are downloads at the bottom for things that you want. What we're interested in is making sure you've downloaded the executable one, maybe some games to test it with. So let's set that to download as well. I'm setting these to download in Chrome. I'm going to show these in a folder. So here we've got the game maker, and I'm going to drag that to my desktop and new folder. So I'm going to drag this into here. Okay, so now you've got the zip that you've downloaded, and also we're going to get the game file as well. I'll put that into the folder. So these are the files you need. Basically, all you need to do is extract this, and when you go into here, you've got a little .jar file. Now, in Java, this is the runnable file. So you need to make sure that you've got the latest Java Runtime Environment installed. Just search for Java or Java JRE, and you'll be able to find it and download it. So all you do is you click on it, and this opens the game maker. Let me make it fit the screen for you. This opens the game maker. So as you can see here, you've got various tools to save and load and test the playing and all stuff like this. The game sort of works in layers, and instead of using a grid system, it uses a system where you have images as the background to your maps rather than anything else. So let's say I want to find an image online. I don't know, trees. I want to download this image of trees, and I'm going to use this as my background. Probably a bit too low resolution actually. So let's select large. Okay, we want this. This is a good image, right? So I'm going to save the image as, and I'm going to save it into the folder that we're working within, which isn't that one. It's this one. So we want to be able to use this maple trees as the background. Great. Okay, so what we do then is we just, well, you can create a new map, for example. So let's create a new map here, and then we want to set the background as being this maple trees we just downloaded. So there we go. We've got a nice little background here, and then you can set the little man. You see him here on this map. You can set him to appear wherever you want. So you can set a default location for him to appear on the map. And then you create your map then. That's quite simply it. So you can click test play here like I've just done, and the screen will come up, and you get a little test play window, and your man is on the screen. But you notice he's not moving at the moment, and that's because you've not defined where he can walk. So to do that, you let me show you on this map. So let's set him back onto this one. This will probably be a bigger file if we put it on YouTube, so let's stick with this one. So let's set his default location as here, and we want him to be able to, I don't know, let's say walk on the map. So you click on the walkover, and you literally just select the area that you'd like your character to be able to walk along. And you double click to finish the selection. And now when we test play, you'll see that the character can now walk along the map, and everything scrolls into view accordingly. Now the interesting thing with this game maker is that you can also set the perspective of the character. Now when I made this, I realised that if you have the character the same size on the whole screen, when he walks around it's going to look pretty silly. And this was the main consideration with going from a grid-based system, like the old RPG 2003 games, to making this for my final project. And there's a perspective layer here called perspective. So if you click on this, you see you've got like a line that's the horizon. You can set that at the horizon by right-clicking, sorry. So you set that by right-clicking, and then if you drag by left-clicking up here, you'll see you can set the size of the person at that point on the horizon. You can set the size of the person at the front. So now, as the person walks across the screen from the back to the front, they will increase in size when you play. So let me show that. for you. If you look, it'll increase in size as it gets towards the screen, which if you're making a game, that's great. So okay, it's pretty pointless though having a game that just is only a man walking across the screen. So it's important to have interactive elements and events. So you can select a foreground in the same way that you can select a background. So let's say, for example, I've got this Game Maker logo that I've made in Photoshop. Interesting thing with this Game Maker logo is that it has a transparent background. So for now I'm putting this in the same folder that this is in, but it really doesn't matter where it is. So let's say we want to add a foreground. You just click where you would like it to go. You select the logo or the picture or whatever it might be, and you click open. And then there it is. You can do the same if you click again, but we don't want to add another one. So once you've added your foreground, you can then click on this icon to move the foreground around. You can resize it, all this sort of stuff. But the important thing is this is always above the sprite. See? So if you were to put this here, it would look like there was a world above him. So let's add that again. Let's have the sprite in front of him. So there's a massive sprite in front of him now. Let's say we want to resize him. So it looks like there's another guy on the map. A massive guy that's going to be above this guy. Put it there. Click off, and then that's positioned. And then you can just test play. And you see that? There we go. But you could put anything there. You could put a bridge, you could put something like that, and it would look like the guy is always walking underneath the other guy. So that's an important consideration when making a game. Let's get rid of him. As always, you want to play with your different mouse buttons, because it makes a difference as to whether it gets rid of stuff or not. Like this walkover area, you get rid of this by right clicking on it and changing the area. And you can have overlapping walkover areas if you're trying to build it bit by bit. Okay, so let's have a look at the events system in this game. These are basically message boxes, teleport to a different map. So let's say we want this part of the map also to be walkable around here. And when the sprite gets to the bottom of the path, if he presses the enter key, which is the space bar, you can teleport. That's all we want to do. So simply select the area you want to be the teleport area, select which map you want to teleport to, select where on the map, click OK, and that event is now set up. And it's as simple as that. So now if you test play the game, you'll see that you can walk down the map, and when it gets to the end, if you press enter, you'll teleport to the new map. So this gives the impression that you're playing a game, transferring between maps, doing events. And there are also other events, such as you can put a message box down. So if you press enter within this message box, it'll say hello world. So let's test play that. See, it comes in, press enter, hello world, excellent, that's what we wanted to do. You can also full screen the view when you're in play mode, by the way. You just press F11. So let's say I'm playing the game and I want a full screen, just press F11, go into full screen mode, press F11 again, it comes out of full screen mode. So that's handy, you want to have a fully immersive game. It's great. By default, it takes a 1024 pixel by 768 and sets that to fit the screen. There's reasons for that in the documentation if you want to give it a read. There are also variable elements. So this is a variable event. So this event will change a variable and then trigger another event. So let's say, for example, let's get rid of all this stuff. So let's say, for example, you want to have a track, and it will only teleport to this map, to map 1, you only wanted to teleport to map 1, so you want teleport here. Now, ordinarily, this teleport would teleport to another map automatically. Now, we don't want that. We only want it if the guy's picked up a teleportation device. So we're going to put a variable device here that is a picked up teleportation device. Excellent, you've picked up the teleportation device. Now set this variable to 1. Great. You can add and subtract or do nothing, but for now we're going to set it to 1. And then you create a variable event, and we're going to put this here. Now that's wrong, sorry, ignore that. We want to create a conditional event. So with this checked, when you create a new event, so we're going to create teleport, you make it conditional on a variable. So variable 1 is normally 0. When you go into this space, it sets it to 1. So if the variable is greater than or equal to 1, then that teleport event will trigger. So we want it to teleport you to over here somewhere. So now you can see when you play the game, you can walk around as normal. You go over here, if you want to teleport, it won't let you teleport. So you go back over to here again. Picked up the teleportation device, great. Now let's go back over. Oh, excellent, there we go. I've teleported now, I've got the device. And those are the main 2 events at the moment that allow you to sort of make games. So you have messages, teleport to different maps, that sort of thing. And so you can, when you draw an event as well, you can draw an event in this using shapes. So you might want to have a square rather than defining an area. I think defining an area is the best way of doing it. And there's all that sort of thing really. So also you can save a game. So if you click save, you can save the game as a .game file. We're not going to do that with this one. What we're going to do instead is we're going to load a game. So we are going to load from the desktop. We want to load that Final Fantasy game that I've made earlier. So here is the Final Fantasy game. There's lots of different maps. Now what might interest you here is that there are 2 elements to this. So if I actually go to the foreground element, you can see that this is a foreground right here. It's an image over the top, so that when I overlay it exactly like that, it looks like, well, the sprite can walk underneath it. So for now, let's set the default location as being onto this map. You can see the game playing. So let's test play. So once the game loads, you see there's a sprite on the map. You can walk around. Now what I've built in at the moment is if you press shift, it'll walk faster. And instinctively you want to go this way. If any of you play Final Fantasy, you'll see, oh, it looks scary, maybe I should explore somewhere else. So you go over here, pick up a sword. That's all very good. It's a cave, alright, great. Oh, no exit, but you found a sword, fantastic. This is what you want. If you notice, the guy walks underneath the items. That's because they're a foreground image placed on. I wanted this illusion of 3D, you see. So there we go. You can walk under things. Great stuff. But the variable element we create in the games is the thing that allows you to have a bit of complexity to it. So let's close this a sec. And let's open up Chrome. And let's go to Java RPG Game Maker tool. And this time let's download the quiz style game. So we're going to copy this into here for now. So the quiz example game, here it is. I'm going to load this. And there it is. So this is a game I made earlier to show you an example of how the variable system works, which I showed you earlier. So if you test play this, it's quite simple. Options to pick here, options here, question at the top. Displays a question. What colour is the sky? Easy question. You can't continue until you answer a question. So you display the questions. Is it blue, orange, or red? So blue, let's pick that option. Correct, the sky is blue. Great, now I can continue to the next question. What's the name of the person who's suddenly head of computer science at the University of Birmingham? Akim, Uday, or Ike? Well, the answer is Akim, so let's check. Let's select this one. Oh, I got it wrong. Never mind, so let's continue. So the quiz is complete now. You can see it tells you here. Total questions answers is 2, correct answers is 1, correct answer is 1. Now, I've not shown you this, but what you do is when you create a message on a map, so let's say I create a message here, you go variable, then the variable number in curly brackets. That variable number in curly brackets will be replaced with the number of the variable that you've set in here. So that's just a quick and easy way of exporting variables. Now, that's the main core features of the game maker. I've released the source code, so you can have a look at how it's made and stuff like this. If you wanted to extend it, I've not released it as an open source license just yet, but I think it'd be a good idea to see if there's any interest in it. Allow development to be continued on it. But yeah, that's the game maker. Oh, and you can delete maps as well. Yes. There you go. Create new maps. That's the way it works. So this is the RPG Game Maker by Andrew Ward, who set up the website development company Scorchsoft.com. So if you need website development done, this is where you come.